Today we're sitting down with Reese, the founder of FullCurl Ranches, and we're going to talk about your unique approach to due diligence. You got 3 levels of due diligence that you guys go through with your clients, and you have a custom deal portal behind the scenes. So tell us a little bit about that deal portal and what that's like.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this feature. There are a few other ranch brokers that have similar kind of offerings. I've been able to see some of those. Haven't seen them all, so I don't want to say ours is completely different. I don't want to oversell it, but what we designed is a login to where exclusive clients of FullCurl Ranches get a login, and behind that login, you'll have access to off-market deals, coming soon properties, other exclusive content just for clients of FullCurl will be behind there. And that'll continue to grow and change over time too. But principally, those will be the main things that you'll find that make it, even at that level, unique to any other client portal that I've ever seen within the ranch brokerage world anyways. And then the other layer to that is access to the deal portal. So if you're one of the handful of clients that gets onboarded within that year for either a listing or if you're looking to acquire or to buy a ranch, you can get you signed up to be in the deal portal. And this is really where the M&A model and the ranch brokerage world merges. This is the bridge, is the deal portal. And once we get through the NDA, the next phase is the questionnaire. I've built a kind of a thorough questionnaire that clients can fill out, and that lives inside that portal that is built for that client. And in there's a custom pipeline. So we take the information from the questionnaire, we do an interview, and we go through that with the client and make sure that everything we understand the client's needs. And then we translate that to a pipeline for the buy side. And really the point around that is to be able to have access to that where you can reference back to it. And then you're not inundated as a buyer with properties that clearly don't fit the criteria.
Right.
I mean, you're only going to get loaded into there, and everything is tracked in there. So you'll have a link to the property that's been identified, and then all the details that make it match to the questionnaire. And then from there, we move into the diligence. There's 3 different phases of due diligence we go through. The pre-LOI, pre-letter of intent, the LOI diligence, and then the value curation phase. And so what I didn't want to do is just raise my hand like everybody else and say, hey, I do things differently. Hey, I'm more thorough. Hey, we do all these things. I wanted to not just say it, but do it and show it. And so that's where the client portal, the deal portal comes in, because I'm showing you my process, everything that we do, the phases that we go through, we take a property through, and everything is in there. You can, I can give access to your attorney. I can give access to your CPA. They have their own login. I can, give them permissions and different levels of different things. You can upload documents to it, and then you can flag documents and flag risks or issues, discovery requests. So people that are in the mergers and acquisition world, this is going to be very, very familiar with what they're used to in buying a business, the software, and but it's not currently used in the ranch space. And I think it's a huge opportunity to bring that in and to elevate the acquisition process when you're spending millions, if not tens or hundreds of millions of dollars on a ranch property to do this level and to have this level of transparency and access. And that lives on for the client forever. So in the future, if they want to get back in and they're like, where did I put my survey? Where did I do this? Where's my phase 1? All the things, especially when you go to bring the property back to the market, that portal for that client, for that deal lives forever.
I mean, that seems like a huge difference maker. Maybe you could explain what the typical process would look like for your average experience versus this. But to me, it sounds like there's a great deal of transparency. There's a great deal of knowledge on the front end of what you're potentially getting into with any one transaction. But even just with the onboarding and that survey and the way that you're looking to align with your clients on the front end, they're not wasting time with those generic emails that get sent out with a bunch of properties that they don't have an interest in buying or that wouldn't be a good fit. They're getting, right to the heart of the matter, finding a ranch property that's going to be a good fit. And it sounds like it's just more transparent, more efficient, and just a better service overall. But could you explain some of the difference between that approach versus what a standard, ranch transaction would look like?
Yeah, I would say starting from the beginning with the pipeline, it's very informal today. You're lucky to have a broker even ask you the questions, the important questions of what does a ranch need to do for you? What are you really looking for? What are your needs? What's your long and short term goals? I mean, all the things that are important for the buyer. You're lucky to even get kind of that far. So, but if you do, there's really no formalization of that to set milestones or goals or even kind of articulate that in a form where you can reference back to it later on, because you may want to change things, or the client may want to change things and say, well, I know I said this before, but I think really now this is what I want to do. And you can make those adjustments and then have those in place to where when you're actually looking for those deals for those clients, that's what you're sending them. And so there's really no formalized process for that today for clients other than maybe an email or a phone conversation that they may have had in an engagement with between the agent and the client. And then when you get into due diligence, I mean, typically ranch deals are done at the level of a single family residence, sometimes less. Sometimes they don't even do home inspections, so sometimes less. And it blows your mind. There may be 6 line items at best on a ranch deal. You're looking at title, survey, maybe you're doing a home inspection, you're looking at leases, maybe some permits and different things. But at most, there's like 6 line items. And let's go through just the pre-LOI and LOI due diligence, which is the third party diligence, is 26 line items long.
Wow.
So, and a lot of that is may seem like really immaterial questions or kind of like notes, but it's a checklist to go through to make sure that you're taking a very holistic approach to the ranch acquisition and identify those red flags or things that are risk tolerances for clients. Because if they can know, they should know. And
Right.
and while typically what ranch brokers like to do is not unnecessarily bring up those things unless the client asks about them. So they're not going to call, say, the county office for wherever county the property's in and ask them about their subdivision process, not like a subdivision, but to divide the property or to develop it, what that is, unless the client asks about that.
Right.
Because that could be a sensitive touch point. And that's part of our process is to at least know. So that way the client that may not even have the ambition near term or short term to divide the property, if they can know, they should know.
Right.
And we're gonna go through our process as if we were buying the ranch for our own investment. We're gonna take the client through the same scrutiny, the same diligence, and to raise those red flags and not hide the ball. And so that's a big difference in what we've experienced when we've bought ranches, even personally, and what I'm bringing to the table and saying, no, we're gonna check every box. We're going to go through I know you're buying it as an emotional transaction. I know it's a long-term hold. I know it's not really like a portfolio and investment and like stock or an actual business, but we're going to treat it as such so that you can actually enjoy the benefit of the transaction.
I think that makes a lot more sense. I mean, the comparison to like a residential transaction, even with a home inspection or something like that, a lot of times you might not see something. There might be an issue with the roof that you find out about, and that can be expensive, relatively so. But when you're talking about a ranch, it's not tens of thousands, it's hundreds of thousands or more. So going through that with way more awareness of what all you're getting into just seems to make all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that coin, I did talk a lot about the buy side, but the sell side for us is we take that same diligence process and we take a seller through it pre-market. So instead of waiting on this discovery process in the middle of a contract, we front load all our due diligence. So I'm taking it from the perspective the buyer's going to ask for this anyways. They're going to do this anyways, and even beyond that, we're going to go ahead and do those things up front, and then identify what we want to do or what we don't want to do. So I get it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to go through that. It can get a little bit expensive, but it is worth it in the long run when you don't get the deal fatigue and you're the standout in the market because nobody else is doing it. you're coming to the table saying, hey, I've done the marketing side, I've done that part, but when it comes to diligence and you're shopping other deals beside mine, here's my diligence package. And I've earmarked all the issues we found and we fixed these, but here's the rest of it. And then everywhere else, they're just like, what's the dragon in the closet for other deals? And you're like,
Right.
here it is.
Yeah, the amount of trust that's got to generate. I mean, you're not looking for, a boogeyman in the closet that they're not wanting to tell you about. You're fully aware of what you're getting into, what the issues are, where the opportunities are, and what, if you're buying that ranch, what you might be responsible for fixing up or changing, or what's going to be done for you. That's really good process. It seems like it just makes all the sense in the world. If people, watch just this one video and we're like, all right, that's my guy. What's the next step for him from here to start getting involved and reach out?
Well, it takes time to do these things. It's a lot easier not to. It's a lot easier just to fall into the mold and just do what everybody else does. So understand that, and understand it takes time. So if you're on the fence today about like, well, I think I might want to get ready to sell my property maybe next year or whenever, reach out. Like it's a process. We need to go through the process. So the sooner you start, and then we can set an event horizon in the future to say, okay, here's the target date for when we want to hit the market. So let's build to that. And if that takes 6 months, whatever it takes, we can start today and at least get the conversation started about your goals so we can plan for the future. The worst thing you can do is rush to it, because that's what every broker wants to do. They're ready to get it on the market. They're ready to get closer to commission because they know at any point they're 60 to 90 days out from a paycheck. So let's get it on today. And I don't care about that. I care about the process. I care about the client's goal, the client's vision, the client's success. And so if you're on the fence about it, make the phone call, send the email, however you want to get hold of me. There's tons of ways. Reach out and let's have a conversation. Let's get started.